Welcome to 301 Banter, a show having conversations with the finest athletes across Minnesota. We delve into the trials and tribulations of the athletes, coaches, and broadcasters that make the sports world in Minnesota tick. So whether you're a diehard sports fan or just curious to learn about different people, join us for discussions and behind-the-scenes glimpses into Minnesota's vibrant sports community.
On today's episode of 301 Banter, I'm joined by someone who's been making moves on and off the field. She's a former high jump standout at Bethany Lutheran College, earning all conference honors in 2019. And she's taken that competitive spirit into the world of sports media. From her work as a freelance reporter to managing social media for Hurrdat Sports and the Beauty League, to covering Minnesota State Mankato athletics and hosting Around the Gridiron, she's built an impressive resume in her time post-college. She currently covers the Saints for Twins Daily. She's the Loons brand ambassador and works with the 10K Takes guys. We'll talk about her journey, the grind of sports media, and what it's like to carve out your own path in such a competitive industry. Marissa Voss joins 301 Banter right now. All right, so Marissa Voss, thank you for joining us today on the 301 Banter.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. I haven't done a podcast in a while, so sorry if it's a little rough.
Yeah, all good. So let's start back in college. You were a high jumper at Bethany Lutheran College. What drew you to the high jump event?
Oh my God, I feel like you know the interviews like is it Narwhal, where you they bring out like the most insane questions about you and you're like, wait, what? That's exactly how I just felt when you asked me about high jump because I wasn't expecting it. High jump is a really funny story. So I did track my entire life from when I was in 7th grade until when I was in like a senior in college, except for 1 year, my freshman year, where I didn't do track it. I was just a student at Minnesota State before I transferred to Bethany. So in high school, I was very versatile. I did everything. My dad was my coach. My dad was also the high jump coach. I knew I would be good at it, but I'm really short. Like people, like when they meet me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're so much shorter than I expected," because I'm 5'1". And so I just was better at other places, so he never put me in high jump, never gave me a chance. Every time I wanted to try it for one meet, just to do it for fun, he was like, no, you're too much, you're competitive in all these other events, so we need your points, and we need this and that. So I never got to do high jump. He wouldn't let me. I was really sad about it, and I thought I'd be good. So then let's fast forward to college. My dad's not the coach anymore, so I look at my coach, and I go, I really want to do high jump. I've never been able to do high jump. I think I'd be fun. And the college I went to, it was D3. It was very small. It was Bethany Lutheran. We had maybe less than 30 kids on the team. So you could do stuff like that. And then I just did it. And I was good at it. And I was really good. And then I started falling in love with the sport again. Because at college, it's such, even at D3, it's such a level of grind that makes you lose the love for the sport track and any sport you do, because it's just such a grind. So I started doing high jump more. I fell in love with it. I was pretty good. I got to jump almost my height, if not my height, which is 5'1". I won Carleton. I won a Carleton college meet. I won a couple other meets. I placed at our UMAC conference meet in high jump. I think I got 3rd or 2nd place a couple years. So I don't know. It was really weird, but I've always wanted to do it, and then I finally got to do it. And then my dad, funny enough, then became my coach my senior year, and he's like, "Oh my God, imagine how good you would have been if I would have just said yes to you doing it in high school." And I was like, "Yeah, I told you to let me do it, but you wouldn't let me do it," which was crazy. So then he did end up coaching me throughout my senior year, so that was really special. But yeah, that's kind of my high jump story. I love it. I still love it to this day. I want to go back and just do it.
Yeah, for sure. I saw you were an all conference high jumper in 2019. What does that honor mean to you? especially with your dad being a coach too.
Yeah, that was crazy because it was so unexpected. I think it was indoor season or outdoor season. I can't remember which one because it's crazy because time just flies by. It meant so much to me because I just something again that like I knew I could do. I knew I could do well, and I love my dad, but sometimes like the faith isn't there at some points. Just because he's like, I think I know, what you can and can't do. So to get that honor and really to see how proud he was of me and to see how he pushed me and really do it for him because I'm a high jumper because he was a high jumper at St. Cloud State. So he was a high jumper in high school and he jumped in college. So I got a lot of what I could do from high jump from him through genetics and and him just coaching me. It was such a surreal feeling. Like, it was so cool to have that moment. He was in the stands because I was over at St. Scholastica. I'm pretty sure it was the indoor season. I can't remember. Like, it was over, I think, in Duluth. Usually we had it in Duluth or in Morris. And he was there, and, to watch me, I remember it now, actually. It was at Scholastica. It was indoor season. I have the video still on my phone, and he was upstairs watching from the railing. And it was my last jump and my last attempt. And I sailed over. I got over it. I had perfect form. Like, we really didn't have a high jump coach. Like, in 2019, we really didn't, because he started helping me in 2020, 2019. So even at that time, he technically wasn't a coach, but he was coaching me because we were, again, just such a small school. So we couldn't really afford to have a lot of coaches. So I would always look up to him. So he was up in the stands going arch your back, get up. Remember, one step, don't take too big of a step. Step back, step forward, go forward. So he was coaching me throughout the process, and then he made one small adjustment, and then that adjustment made me, get over the bar and then get that all conference. And I remember screaming and jumping up and down, and I literally, he came down and he hugged me, and it was a cool moment. So it's one I was kind of forgot because I haven't thought about in a while, but in that moment it was one of the more special sports moments of my life, as being an athlete, especially with having the guy who was always there for me and coached me in high school and then, through college and everything. So it was one of the reasons why when you're an athlete, that's why you become an athlete.
Right. And track and field, specifically, is a very individual sport, but it's also you're trying to win the meet together as a team too, but
Yep.
Like baseball at the same time with the batter stepping up to the plate. It's very individual but very team oriented at the same time. How important was the team atmosphere in track and field?
Yeah, it's a lot more important than you think, but especially again in high school, it was really important because it's one of those things where I had to be on my best because obviously I was chasing my personal best and I was trying to do good for me and beat my own records, but every single place matters, especially when you get up to conference and when you get to true team and when you are qualifying for true team, subsections, sections, whatever, every single place matters, every single point matters, every single second matters. So for me, it was always if I get, a couple more inches in triple jump, that means that I'm in second place instead of third place, which means I get more points for my team, which then means that we can get those more points to either win the meet or go on to go to true team or whatever that may be. And so it is as much an individual sport as it is really working towards it. That's why, again, I couldn't do high jump because if I did high jump, then that takes me to long jump and then or triple jump or on the track. And those were much needed points for our team to win. So it is, as much as you think you can put them anywhere and do anything, it's a very strategic sport. And which is why when you're a head coach and you're trying to figure out which athlete goes where, it is very wild because for some meets, I usually, when I was younger, I had a pretty strong, I think I'm going to do 4x1, I'm going to do 100, and then I'll probably do triple jump and long jump, and those will be what I'm in. And usually, most of the time, that was the case. But then sometimes I'd look at it, I'm oh, I'm doing a 400 today. Okay, sick. I'm doing a 400, then I have the 200, and then I have triple jump, and then I have long jump. Or, oh, I'm in the 4x4 this, So I was a very versatile athlete where I did all of the sprints, mid distance, and I did basically 100 to 800 and then triple jump and long jump in high school. So I never I knew what I was doing, but it was also really cool for my coach Bob Bonk, who's a legendary coach, like in the track and field Hall of Fame, since retired now, but really one of the best coaches I've ever had in my entire life, including beating my dad, by the way. So that should tell you something. And, you know, so he would put me in places, but it was always strategic. Like, if I know if we need these extra points, Marissa, it would be better because the 4x1 is probably not going to do that great. Or they'll do great without Marissa, or vice versa. So I'm going to take her out of the 4x1, but I'm going to put her in the open 4 because I think she'll get in top 4. And then that way we can get extra points, because what if we do, you know, we're just continue to do well without Marissa in the 4x1, but then we get those extra points in the 400. So it's a very, very logistics, strategical sport that I don't think a lot of people talk about and don't really appreciate, because they think it's just very, very individual, and it's really not. It is when you get to, like, obviously, like the Olympics, right? Or like, you know, like college, maybe, like for like championships wise. But when you're in a meet, like in that sense, it's very team oriented, which creates a lot of good vibes, because people are cheering on, you know, every single time. Hey, if you don't have an event on, you have to cheer your team on. You have to cheer your team on. Doesn't matter what you're doing, go watch your team, go do this, go do that. If you have to get in the zone for your event, that's fine, but like make sure you're cheering on your team. So it's just a really special sport to me.
Yeah. And we had a family friend growing up that did track at local high school, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like he was one of the distance runners, and he was like, I was cutting and like trying to stay lean and light, and then you looked over at the shot put guys grilling steaks and sitting. They would flood the bed of a pickup and be sitting a pool to stay cool. And then he's like, "Oh my god, I wish I had, you know, could do shot put." So,
oh my god, the shot putters and the discers are like so different, and people didn't realize like how different it was. Like it was like, it's a hard sport, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's not as exerting as being a long distance runner or doing anything else of that nature on the track. So I always like love to go over sometimes just check out like what they're doing for like a practice or like a meet. If I ever had time, I never usually did, but I'd always be like, what do you guys do over here? Like, I've never been over here, and exactly what you're saying. They're just like laying down, chilling, like on their phone, like hanging out. I'm like, because that's all they do is like, all they do is that. They don't have to do any running. And I'm like, you guys, come on.
Yeah. So, in college, you were communications major, and you're now social media on covering Minnesota sports. How did that degree help with your career now?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because I think I did communications because, honestly, I did communications with emphasis in sports broadcasting, because we didn't have a minor for sports broadcasting or a major for Bethany, or else I probably would have like double majored. But I did communications because it's an overarching umbrella, right? Like, you could do anything with communications. I think it helped to a sense just because I have the degree, but really what helped me with what I do now is my hands-on experience, which is what a lot of like college kids come up and talk to me and say, how, like, you know, how do you do it? I said, yeah, the degree is great. Like, obviously the degree is great. Getting the classes are great. I probably would have gone a little bit more in depth if I really knew what I was doing, but I kind of like jumped into the broadcasting thing a little bit later, you know, and like my junior year and the end of my sophomore year. So I already was like in the communications degree, and I was like, I'm finishing this because I'm not starting another major. I'm not doing it. That will be here for another how many years. I'm not doing that. But the hands-on thing really helped with what I do now and everything else. Bethany was amazing because, you know, they had the Maverick Hockey Weekend, since now it's kind of a little bit different. But when I started, it was Maverick Hockey Weekend, which means I was the ice side reporter for Minnesota State, the team reporter and interviewer. And, you know, I also worked for PLCVikings.com, which was covering our local sports for Vikings and sitting down with a lot of athletes and doing that. And that's what really helped me with what I do now and what I have done in my like journey to where I am now as a content creator, because I learned to be an interviewer. I never thought I would do that. Like, I thought I was going to be a newspaper journalist. Like, I knew I wanted to talk about sports, but I thought it was going to be like a newspaper journalist or like a blog writer or a website writer, something like that. So when I really like got, my advisor pushed me to try Maverick Hockey Weekend, I told her, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. And she's like, no, you are. You're going to, because I'm going to force you to do it. And she did, and I thank her to this day, because obviously I am where I am, so I very much thank her. And then, I just kept doing it, and I kept doing interviews, and I just realized, like, that's what I wanted to do. I was so hungry. If there was always an opportunity, I would be there. If there was always, anything else, I'd be there, because that's really what helped me, was that hands-on experience. But having the communications degree obviously helps out a lot. Going to school helps out a lot. Now in this day and age of content creation, it's kind of crazy how you don't really have to have that, I guess, in a sense. Maybe some don't. Some big influencers never went to school, which is crazy. But for me, and working in sports, and if you want to do it professionally, you really do have to have that degree, because it builds and teaches you so much. And it really gets your foot in the door for a lot of these things. So Bethany helped me out a lot. It gave me absolutely everything. And then, it gave me Minnesota State, and Minnesota State to doing KUIC, and then KUIC to Hurrdat Sports, and then Hurrdat Sports to here. And now I'm on this podcast.
Yeah. So you covered the Mankato in arena, basically being the Mankato version of Kirsten Kroll and Juice.
Yeah.
So then you brought up Hurrdat Sports, and those that don't know, Hurrdat is in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes,
Nebraska for sure. And it's so what made you move, from Minnesota to Nebraska to work there?
Yeah, that was a really hard decision, and overall really hard in my life, because I was at Minnesota State. So I was working for KUIC, the news station, and I really, KUIC taught me a lot of fundamentals about being a journalist, which I think creeps into what you do as a content creator, because like creating a package and doing stand-ups and everything really is just like this day and age is like news reporter for being a content creator, because you have to write stuff out and you have to do this. So everything, when I'm like creating a package or like doing research, I'm like, this is literally just the news on my phone. Like, it's kind of insane, like, to think about, because I've done both. But I was doing that. I was also being the digital content manager and team interviewer for Minnesota State at the time. Obviously, I think this was back in 2022 when I think it's 2022 when it was Denver versus Minnesota State and the Natty Champ. So that year, which was like a whirlwind for me, like that was the top. Like, even I talk about a lot of stuff that I've done, and I talk about that's still a memory I like bring up in my professional career, because like it was so cool to go to the Frozen Four and then have them win and cover that and boost our socials, and then go to the Natty Champ even though they did lose. It was such a crazy moment doing interviews and packages and all that stuff. I do it a lot differently now because I have more experience, but back then, being somebody who's only 2 years out of college, it was crazy. But that time came to an end, though. My contract was up at KYC, and I didn't know what I was doing for Minnesota State. I thought that I and this is my advice to everybody, don't assume anything in sports. This is my first naive move. Do not assume anything, because nothing, like, even if it's a year, like you have like, oh, I think I'm going to do this again next year. It's probably not the case, because it's so fluid and so moving. I know this now, but I assumed that I had the Minnesota State thing in the bag. I did. I was like, another year, like, I just won't do Minnesota State, or I won't do, KUIC. I'll be done with that, because I couldn't do both, because I was focusing more on Minnesota State anyway, so I was letting my KUIC responsibility drift a little bit. So I was like, I'm just going to be done. And then, so then I tell my boss, I'm like, hey, I'm not coming back to KUIC, so I'm putting my 2 weeks notice in. So that's done. And then I go to Minnesota State and I say, I'm ready to do some more stuff. I'm ready to get back into it. And they go, hey, we're going in a different direction. And we're sorry, but we're not bringing you back next year. And that hit me, because I lost 2 of my jobs in one day. And I was like, ooh, what am I going to do? I literally had 2 jobs and now I have nothing. And then KYC, the other direction they went to with Minnesota State was partnering with KYC. So they partnered with KYC. And I started to do a lot of Maverick stuff and a lot of other stuff. And I would have been in that if I had stayed with KYC and signed another 2-year contract, but I didn't know that was what they were doing, and they didn't really communicate to me that's what they were doing. So they just said, we're going in a new direction. We'd love to have you on as like a sports reporter. But I just genuinely thought that I'd rather do Minnesota State. And at the end of the day, I was like, I probably like. It was a weird decision because I was like, would that have been good if I just stayed with KUIC? Like, where would I be now? Would I still be doing news? Probably. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it's also not what I wanted to do. And I wasn't necessarily super happy at KUIC. I did my job, but I wasn't getting to cover sports. I was only like really like an MMJ, like a multimedia journalist. So that was kind of like a stinger because then they got to cover the Mavericks and they kind of took over my position, which is part of the biz now. Part of the biz that I know. And I'm getting to the point, I swear, it's just a lot of backstory. So then I didn't have a job in sports for like literally 6 months, like at least 6 to 8 months. And I was hiring and applying everywhere and I didn't have anything. And I had to move back in with my parents. I still had my apartment. I was still paying for my apartment in Mankato because I couldn't find a subleaser. And it was really rough. And I was working for my dad, who owns a cleaning company, and then I was also working as a waitress up in St. Peter, and it was just like this whole thing. Well, then I get hurt at sports, and a video comes across my FYP, and it says, if you love working in sports, if you like working in arenas, make a video of why we should hire you. So I made an entire video. I made a digital resume. I put it all out on the line, and I made this video, and then it caught their eye, and I did a couple interviews, and then I got the job. And that's kind of how I got the job at, Hurt at Sports. And I said yes. And I was like okay, that's it. Let's move to Nebraska. What does Minnesota have for me right now? Nothing. I could have moved to the cities, but I didn't have anything. So I was like, this is a concrete job in sports. I'll do this for, at least 2 to 3 years, hopefully. And like, if I like it, then I'll just stay there for a while. And I did my job. I covered, UNO. I covered Creighton from time to time. I just did volleyball, which was really crazy because they didn't really they had hockey, but I don't know. So I started doing volleyball, got comfortable with that. I covered Pinnacle Bank Championship. I went to the NFL draft with Hurt at Sports. I went to regionals and covered that. A lot of cool stuff. I went to Savannah Bananas game, and I was a social media person for them and then a sports reporter. But, I think the people at Hurt at Sports, they're killing it right now in Nebraska. They're doing so good. I really think they're doing a great job. It's one of the best, overall sports companies in Nebraska because they're just everywhere all the time, and that's what they wanted to do. But at the end of the day, I missed Minnesota. I lasted, I think, maybe a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years in Omaha, and I missed Minnesota. So I had a great time. It was a lot of great experience. I do not regret it one bit. It wasn't just I was living in Nebraska, and I wasn't living in Minnesota, and the hockey down there, they have Omaha, and that's about it. And as somebody who loves hockey and loves the Minnesota Wild and, misses like that, it was like, I gotta go. So it was really cool. I've made a lot of great memories, but that's kind of how it landed me there. And then I was moved over to Minnesota. So that long journey was crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I think your plan of 2 to 3 years is also the perfect example of nothing's guaranteed. And and again, your advice of nothing is guaranteed in sports, that can, go from media members to players and coaches, and like it doesn't matter who you are working in sports, nothing is guaranteed. But back, speaking of Minnesota hockey, you were able to cover the greatest summer hockey league in the world, in the Beauty League, and we have had both Jake Seibel and Ryan Bischel on this, who have both played in, and I think Nate Prosser played with him on the show too. So he played in that a few years ago. But what's the atmosphere? Obviously, the atmosphere is great when you're a fan there watching, but behind the scenes, what's the atmosphere like?
Yeah, I'm actually going on Wednesday to the Beauty League this Wednesday. I'm very excited to get back there. I'm making a couple of videos for some brands I'm working with, so I'm really excited to get back to the Beauty League. The Beauty League is so much fun, and I feel like it's a hidden gem, which is crazy to me because the amount of like talent that's there for like the NHL, college hockey, you know, even the ECHL, you know, AHL, anything, right? Like just hockey. It's Hockey Central. It is a hidden gem. Not a lot of people know about it. If you're obviously like rabid with the sports and like hockey community, you know about it. But doing the behind the scenes stuff was so cool. I did that for a year. I was their social media manager. And like I interviewed people from time to time, if it was for social media, and it was so cool. And this was the time where I was like, Jake Gensel was there, and Nick Boonstad was there, and Matt Dumba, and Middleton, and you know, a lot of other really big names were also there. So I don't know, actually, not Brock Faber. He was still in school. I was just kidding on that, because Brock Faber was not there. He was still, I think he was still in school, but so yeah, a lot of other big names. I mean, like, so I got to make TikToks with Nick Boonstad. I remember this like clear as day. I was shaking in my boots. Like I was like, nicest guy though, nicest guy ever. I was like this. So I was like, I had a really good idea where it was like that one like trend where it was like do 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 do, and you're like pounding on the door, and then you transition to the other side, and it's just like Nick Boonstad. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. So I start pounding on the door in the first half, and then it comes out. I'm like, Nick, can you make a TikTok video with me? He goes, yeah. He's like, what am I doing? He's so uncomfortable, he had no idea. And I'm like, you just need to pound on the door. And he's like, what? I was like, just start pounding on the door, okay? This is really weird. So he's like, okay. He doesn't do it in beat. He literally goes, dun, 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 dun. I don't know where that video is. I need to go find it. And then he's like, is that it? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, bye. So stuff like that. And I interviewed Jake, and you know, the behind the scenes stuff is really cool because you'll get like, so they come out of Braemar Arena through the tunnel, right? Like the ZAM tunnel. And then in the back, and they have all this like wall of like nameplates, and they make them like sometimes with like even like duct tape or like certain things, and they're like Velcro. So, because you never know who's going to be on the team from week to week. You usually do have like your regulars, like let's say Snuggie is a regular. So Snuggie's usually going to be there every single time, or you know, whoever else. But there's a lot of these guys who, especially in the AHL, are always usually there, maybe in the ECHL, maybe in college hockey. A lot of the big timers are not really there as much. Like Parisi in my time was there, but he was there maybe twice in the summer, right? Middleton was there maybe like 4 times. Matt Dumbo only appeared once. Like some of the bigger names don't show up as much. Jake Gensel was always usually there. Like, so they have appearances, but really it's like, if they want to come, they're going to come. And if they don't, they don't. So you have to have like certain nameplates, and you have to have the jerseys, and then you give them the jerseys and you put on the nameplates in the back, right? So it's like Velcro style. It's really cool because you just don't know. So I would always look back there and like, this is like, you know, I was like, oh my God, Ryan Sandelin, Minnesota State. Like, that's crazy. Like, you know, like Jake Livingstone was there. I was like, oh my God, my Minnesota State people. Like so many people, and from, you know, all of these different like levels of hockey just playing on the same team together that you never thought would happen. Like last year I interviewed Nate Schmidt and then the 3 Middlestat brothers all in one interview together, while I just came back for like a guest appearances because like I think Anna was doing her interviews in Omaha before she got her job down there. Anna Benning, I think, is her name. And yeah, it's a really coul atmosphere. The behind the scenes stuff is really cool. Like the players are super chill. Like they're having fun with hockey. It's really good. Oh my God, I have to tell you the story. Wait. This is crazy. So it does get really competitive. And we had a fight one year, and this never happens. But it was the one year I was working, and it was insane. So fights are frowned upon in the beauty league because it's all about fun. It's just a way for the guys to loosen up before the season, make sure that they're in shape, you know, get some workouts and get some reps in. So there's no fighting. But Teddy Bluger and I think it was Vinny Letterini, I'm pretty sure it was Vinny, they throw down the mitts one game. And it's like the championship game, or it's like some game. So they throw down the mitts and they just start fucking punching each other. And they're just going at it, and there's blood everywhere, and there's blood on the jerseys, and there's blood on the ice, and, you know, everybody's freaking out like, what the F's going on? There's a fight, oh my God. You know, and they're like walking off, and they're still swearing. Like they have to be like taken off of each other and like put to corners because they're like literally that heated, and like they're walking down, and it was like truly insane. That was probably one of the craziest moments because the Beauty League doesn't have fights, and that one was like insane. So that's kind of like the atmosphere. There's not usually fights. I don't know what happened there, but there was. But it's really fun. It's a great way to bring the family. It's in a really close environment. Obviously, it's a high school hockey barn, so you can get up close to these guys. You can get right up close to the glass. You can get pictures with them after. You can get autographs after the game or before the game. This is a way for young kids to really meet their idols if they want to, or gets to watch some really cool hockey. And it's all for charity. Which is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously helps that it's one of the most historic high school hockey bars.
Yes,
in for sure the state, maybe the country too. So then covering the beauty league, you're now also working with the 10K Takes guys too. Just got to go see Joey Chestnut in the St. Paul Saints. What's it like working with and for that brand?
Yeah, 10K Takes is really special to me. To contrary belief, I don't get paid. So everything I do is just for free because I believe in the brand. I believe that they can go really far, and I believe that there is going to be a return in the future. We just need to start building and keep building because I've seen this company. I've been with them, I think, for 3 years now at least. Like Jack and Jake and I were talking after the Joey Chestnut game. I think I've been with them for 3 years. My main role is Wild Takes. That's the one that I basically run that entire account for, which I'm happy to do it. I love it. And then obviously my own stuff, and then contributing sometimes to the main page. We got some cool stuff this year with me and State of Skull, so I'm really excited about that. We got some cool new segments going on with me. But yeah, I love the boys. I love the brand. They reached out to me, 3 years ago, and they're like, do you want to do this? And I was like, absolutely. At the time, there was a couple other girls in the company, so I was like, I absolutely do want to do this, and I've just been grinding with them. I don't think a lot of people know that I'm in 10K and I'm in the company, but I swear to God, guys, I'm in the company. This is my new bit. I am in 10K Takes, okay? I am the only female in 10K Takes, might I add you. And it's in, people want me to change, my Twitter tag and all my tags to Marissa Voss _10K, because that's what, Boss Man and Jack and Jake and Sarge do, but, that's, not my brand. So I'm not going to change my name and my, stuff, but I will say I am on 10K Takes, and I do a lot of it. But they're such a cool brand. They bring such a different view to sports, and in a way that's funny and, a little bit goofy, and it's not so rigid. So we went to Joey Chestnut, obviously, and that was insane. So we got to meet him, and we got to interview him and Notorious B.O.B. And let me tell you what, those boys and how even B.O.B. did it, but Joey Chestnut, the way that he was eating, and then he just flipped a switch and just started shoving it in his mouth. I was like, listen, if you ever get the chance to go see Joey Chestnut eat or do any food competition, you need to go, because it's just mind-boggling. It's insane to watch him. And he was literally after in the club level just drinking beers and hanging out with people. He wasn't even sick or anything. He was just hanging out, taking pictures, I was like, how are you doing this, Joey Chestnut? So that was really cool. We got some insane stuff with 10K. And I'm really happy to do it. I really want to amp up more. Obviously, though, I do not get paid, so it's really hard to, I kind of try to reap the benefits, whether that be, working with and Joey Chestnut and getting to do this stuff like that, or if there's some maybe for games or certain things. But yeah, everything as of right now is just because I love the brand and I love Captain's Patch and I love 10K, and I think there's going to be a return. It's just, not right now, but and I didn't even when I'm with Jack and Jake, they get noticed so much. It's crazy how many people know 10K. I don't get noticed by 10K yet. I don't know what the deal is. We were literally at a bar in Bulldogs, and these two, this group of guys were love your content, boys, and they were shaking the guys' hands. And as soon as I was wearing a 10K Takes hat, might I add you, as soon as I was hey, thanks, they turned around and snubbed me twice, and I was oh, do they not know? And there's just been a lot of times Jack even has to be yeah, she's with us too, she's part of 10K. So we'll get there one day, but for right now, I just love working with the boys. They're so awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So, wasn't planning on asking this question, but it did pop into my head as you were.
Okay.
So you've seen Joey Chestnut in person, and this again, nothing to do with like your journey in sports media or anything. But you've seen Joey Chestnut in person. There's the hypothetical question of him versus Usain Bolt. They have to eat a hot dog and then run a 100-meter dash. Who wins?
Oh my God, it's so funny because Bolt is so fast, obviously, but he, like, I feel like would have a hard time, like, eating the hot dog really fast. Like, Joey could eat that in, like, 2 to 3 bites, right? Like, insanely fast. But I don't think Joey's a fast runner, and Usain is the fastest. I would go Bolt. I no shade to Jay at all. The goat and eating food. But when you mix in then running, like, here's the thing. Joey could probably eat the hot dog, get to the 50-yard, or, like, the middle of the 100-yard dash, and then Usain would beat him because he'd catch him because he's that fast, you know. So I think Bolt would be there. I genuinely think that would be the case. Yeah,
for sure. I've seen a bunch of different answers on that, and then that turns into what distance would
exactly
Joey to win, like
50-yard maybe, or 55 in the indoor.
Or if you're the other way, if you think Joey wins, then how much do you have to add on for Usain Bolt to catch? Like, I don't know, it's one of those stupid internet debates that I was thinking when we brought up Joey Chestnut. I had to ask someone that ran track and
100%. It's such a good
person. So
it's such a valid question, but it's got to be Bolt because he's just like ungodly fast.
Yeah.
But Joey Chestnut's like weirdly skinny, like he's in weirdly good shape. Like I looked at him and I was like, I feel like you should be like bigger, man. And he was like skinny in the face and everything. Like he looked like he probably works out too. Like I think you have to obviously if you're eating that much, but like it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So getting back on track with more of your career and not these random internet debates. You are a brand ambassador now for the Loons, which is a recent development, recent gig. What's it like working, with the Loons and for them?
Oh, what an organization. What an absolutely beautiful organization, right? They're so much fun. It's so easy because it's so fun, right? Really, as a brand ambassador, you're basically just what it is. You're supporting the brand. You're building awareness for the brand. It's a part-time job. It's super easy. It's just I needed to make a little bit more money, and like I'm still having it in sports, but really anybody could do this job. It's not really social media centric, right? We can't really do a lot like with social media. So the reason why you haven't seen any vlogs of me going like, come with me to do this is because like there is social media. Like I'm not permitted to show a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So that is just what it is. But it's so cool. Like I get to, go to, if they have a field day, right, for like maybe, in St. Paul for some inner city kids. And, we have the mascots, we have all teams. And then that's kind of what we did one day was where we went and, helped out these kids and showed them what soccer was about and gave them, they went to different drills. So they went to, the Loons and then they went to the Vikings and then they went to the Wild and Wolves and did all this stuff. And that was their field day. And it was really cool. And so I do stuff like that, or I go to events, or I go, I have to work the state fair 3 times. And then I get to work games, and games are obviously the most fun because you get to go to the games for free. And sometimes I'm on like the Great Lawn, like promoting the brand or getting people to enter or doing giveaways. Sometimes I'm like at the scoreboard, like changing the scoreboard. Sometimes I'm following our mascot around. Like there's just certain different things that are like really cool about the brand and about this job that I just love. But the organization as itself in Minnesota United, I think is very underrated. Not in the hockey community, not in the soccer community. The soccer community is very strong. It's like hockey. It's rabid. They love it. It could be a Wednesday night and Allianz Field is full because they just love soccer so much. But I do think that people, if you've never been to a Loons game and you've never been to a Minnesota United game, you need to go. Because it's truly fantastic. You can get really cheap tickets at this thing called the Wonder Wall. It's standing room only. It's where all the chanting is, the flags, the smoke, the drums, the cheering. and then you can, go and visit the brew hall, which they have all these different types of, draft beers on tap, and the gates open up. They have some of the best concessions, and it's the newest, obviously new stadium in Minnesota. So really cool spot. Really, really suggest people go because, and especially watching night games in the summer even or in the fall for soccer it's so beautiful. And I've been to every single dang arena and stadium in Minnesota, and I think Allianz Field is one of my favorites. A video is coming. I will be doing a review going as a fan here soon, but love the brand. They actually follow me on Twitter, and I follow the Minnesota United on Twitter, and it's just a great relationship. So I love the job, and it's super easy and it's super fun. And I used to play soccer too, so that's also why I think I love it so much.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it is the newest stadium, which knock on wood, now that Mark Laurie and A-Rod, the Timberwolves, we might be getting a new Timberwolves stadium. So again, nothing against the Loons or Allianz Field, but hopefully that we get a new basketball stadium here soon. So we'll end with, again, this is kind of one question, but we're gonna break it down into a couple different parts.
Okay.
It'll be the last one, and this might get a little bit controversial, but this question, you have had some controversy in the past with this. Particularly in January. We're going to get your rapid fire hot takes, and hopefully they are actually true this time.
Oh God!
So we'll give you I'll give you the teams, Minnesota team, and we'll get a hot take from.
I'm sweating.
And maybe don't look at the comments on this one because it.
Oh God!
No, I'm just kidding. I
love it. I will give the hot takes because that's all I do, and then I just get grilled on social media. So I love it. Let's go.
So we'll start with the team we just talked about in the Loons.
Okay.
Hot take on the Loons.
My hot take on the Loons is I haven't been to a game this year that they won, unfortunately. I think they have a really hard time winning at home. I think that my hot take is that they're not that great at home. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's just a regular take. But my hot take would be that I've got to think about this. I want this to be really good. Yeah.
I mean, it can just be
hot take is it's the best stadium in Minnesota.
Okay.
Not even the newest, not even anything. It is the best. From the structure, from how it is built, to the how big the aisles are. US Bank is very small with the room because it's compact in there. It's very big. It's open. There's a lot of places to sit. Yeah. They have the Wonder Wall. They have the suites. They have this. They have that. Best stadium in Minnesota. Period. That's my hot take.
For sure. We do just a talk show, Minnesota sports talk show too, podcast, and for the last couple months we've added in what I call the power rankings, and it's the top 10 of any given Minnesota sports category. And a couple episodes ago we did the top 10 venues, and the caveat with that was I had to have been to them because I'm I can't rank the ones that I haven't been to. So I haven't been to Allianz, so that did not make the list. But
you gotta go, especially during it, especially when it's summer. So we have a couple more home games. I think there's one actually this Saturday, the 16th, or whatever. But look at the schedule. It's really cool to see it at night. Trust me that your mind will change once you go to a game.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go back over to Minneapolis, and we'll go to the Twins. Hot take for the Twins.
Hot take for the Twins that they're going to be one of the. They're going to make the playoffs this year.
Really? I mean, that could be. I think it was Jeffers maybe was saying that they're now playing with no expectations.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs because here's the thing about the Minnesota Twins is when there's a lot of expectations on them and they've got a little weight in their shoulders, it's the outcome doesn't come very well. It doesn't happen because that's why you can look back to also like the drought that we had and the losing streak we had with the playoffs and everything. When the Twins are like an organization have so much weight on them, I think it really doesn't amount and it translates to the field, right? Because baseball's a lot of politics. As much as it is just baseball, it's politics. And I think this year politics have seeped into that. And it really has put that weight on them. And now I think that they're going to prove everyone wrong because now everybody's like looking at them after the fire sale, after the poll ads, after, all of this hate, every single thing that has gone on. I'm like getting my allergies are acting up, so excuse me. Everything that has gone on with them, I think that what the last thing that they're expecting and the fans are expecting is for them to be good. And that is when they're going to be great. Because of exactly what Ryan Jeffers said. So they're playing free, they're getting back to the basics, and they're learning to love the game like they used to when they were kids. Yeah. I also think that due to a certain somebody at shortstop who is gone in the clubhouse, I think that also has something to do with it because I think he was a lot more of a negative force than a lot of people thought. I think a lot of fans didn't even get that and understand that. And I think he was not as good for the team as everybody thought.
Right, and maybe had some medical issues going on too that were underreported. Allegedly,
of course. Allegedly.
But let's just this pun very much intended. Might be a curveball for you. We're going to St. Paul Saints. Going to the minor league. It's not just the top teams, but it's
so my hot take on the St. Paul Saints is really on one player in specific, and it does kind of go back to the Twins. My hot take is that Carson McCusker needs to be up with the Twins, and Eddie Julian needs to be back down, I think. Or somebody else needs to be down in his place. Now, obviously, I don't think it's Ryan Fitzgerald because Ryan Fitzgerald obviously just proved that he was really good and deserves to be up there because obviously of his hit and his first hit and then home run with the Twins. He's doing really well. But I think Carson McCusker hasn't had the time to shine up there. He was one of the best players, if not the best players, for the Saints this year, and he is really a great prospect, and my hot take is that he needs to be up there, and I don't even know if that's a hot take, but it's just, I feel so passionate about it. I'm so pissed because he was up there, and then I don't even think he got to play, and then he got called back down because I think Buxton's coming in. He's like a 6'9", 6'10" giant. His OPS is, I don't know his OPS at the top of my head, but it's pretty good. He's had a great season. He's got a lot of accolades, and I think he deserves a shot, and the Twins aren't doing it. And it pisses me off because the Saints are not good this year, are not doing great right now because guess where all their team is? Up in the majors. So, I don't know. I really think that Carson needs that shot, and the fact that he isn't getting that makes me really sad.
Yeah.
So.
Can they maybe move in that certain shortstop out, was able to move their second baseman, Brooks Lee, over to shortstop and then give a guy like Luke Keyshaw a chance, who, again, he should be staying up in. That's not a hot take. Not really a hot take.
No, he is
staying in the MLB.
He is the this may be the actual hot take, but he is the face of the franchise. He's going to be the face of the franchise. He is going to be the one. Royce is Royce. Luke Keyshaw will be the face of our franchise, and he will be the one to take us to greatness.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yep. So now we're go again across the street from Target Field, and we'll do the Timberwolves. Got a Timberwolves hot take.
This is so hard because I haven't been a huge Timberwolves fan. Don't knock me. It's just because when hockey goes on, I'm so locked in on college hockey and like other hockey. So, a lot of this stuff with the Timberwolves, there's not much hot take. Maybe I think they're really going to regret Alexander Walker and letting him go. I think they're maybe going to really regret that because Ant loves him, and Ant loves everybody, but I think that he was a really big guy for us to step in when we weren't playing that well, whether that was, he was just one of the more consistent players. Like, you knew what you were going to kind of get from Alexander Walker, and then sometimes he would pop off, and you're like, whoa, we really needed that, right? Like, I also think that, like, I would have rather, I don't know is Dante still on the team? Yeah. I would have rather they kept Nah and got rid of Dante. I would have rather, and I don't know if that's a hot take, but I would have rather.
I think that's in some circles I think that's a hot take, in other circles I think it's probably not.
It's accurate, right? And like that, so that's kind of like how I feel. But I think we're really gonna regret like letting him go. Also, I'm not a fan of the logo that the Timberwolves have. The modernized one. I think I'm with everybody.
The old wolf head in the basketball was better than this one, but like the KG era with the head face
and the trees
and the pointy letters too was the best.
Bring me home. Bring it to me. A-Rod and
I did hear there's again rumors that that's going to be their alternate jersey this year. Is they're bringing back the black with the tree trim.
Bring back the trees, okay?
Yep.
Bring back 100%. The trees.
100%.
I need it.
So we'll go. Again, you said you're a hockey fan, but we're going to go to the. We're going to again another kind of curveball. We'll go to the women's side. Do you have any Frost hot takes? Back-to-back champions.
I haven't been to this is going to get me exiled. I haven't been to a Frost game yet. That's rough. I need to go to a Frost game this year, first off and foremost. I need to go to a Frost game and watch the women do what they do best, which is hockey, and do what they do best in Minnesota versus anybody else, which is win championships first and foremost.
Yeah.
The women can get it done, and that's that. And I don't know why I haven't been going to like Lynx or Frost games, because the women know how to win. And let's be honest here, that's not a hot take. That's just life in general. I think my biggest hot take, isn't there some girl on the team who is like, is it Britta? She's not a fan favorite, right?
Britta Curl, yeah.
Get rid of her. Is that a hot take? Get her out of here. I don't want her.
Might be. Yeah.
I don't. Get her off the team. I don't think we need her. I think there's a couple people who we let go. I don't think she needs to be on the team. I don't think it's like maybe a culture fit. And again, what do I know? I haven't gone to a game, so maybe like that's like people like shut down on what you're talking about because you don't watch them. Which I do check in from time to time. But I think she isn't like the fans. I don't know if the fans like her. I think they just need to get rid of Britta. But I will say. I was also going to say something. I think a good. I don't even know a hot take because I don't even like really watch them that much. And everything I'm going to say a hot take isn't even a hot take. Like Taylor Heisey's the GOAT. Like Taylor Heisey's the GOAT. Obviously, I mean, Maddie Rooney's fantastic, right?
The Britta one I think might be enough of a hot take too. So.
I think that is. I think we'll have to go with that. But don't exile me, Frost fans. I do have. I've been putting a content plan together of everything I'm doing this year, and a Frost game is on that list for content.
Gotcha. All right, and we've got just a couple more minutes here. So we'll go. We'll go with the Vikings first. Any Vikings?
The Vikings are going to be middle of the road this year.
Middle of the road again. That's I think a hot take with Yeah.
I don't know if it's a JJ thing. I've thought about this a lot. I think the pressure is going to really get to JJ. There's a lot riding on him, way more than any other quarterback I have felt. I think he has more pressure than Sam Darnold did, and look how Sam Darnold did, right? I think
it's the Twins. There were zero expectations on Sam Darnold.
Zero expectations on Sam Darnold when he went. There are so many expectations. Like people were freaking out. They were freaking out, and they were doing all this stuff on Twitter when JJ didn't produce in the preseason game.
Yeah.
It's his first game back after his injury. He only ever played one preseason game last year. The first preseason game I was at before he got injured. 2 drives. Like, I think there is so much. I think these fans are putting too much pressure on him. They're calling him the GOAT. They're calling him like all this stuff, everything else. I feel like Sam Howell's going to get in there and like ball out more. I don't know. I just think they're going to be middle of the road this year. I think it's too much.
I think I'll go off of that. My hot take for the Vikings is the Vikings can win 10 to 12 games with JJ McCarthy being Brock Purdy.
Oh, I like that.
He can be a middle of the road quarterback, and the roster, especially the front 7 on the defense, is good enough to get them to win 10 to 12 games.
I like that. I like that.
I think, again, if he is a middle of the road quarterback, I think KOC is a good enough head coach to coach him up to that. I think.
Yep.
I'm not expecting him to do, a Pat Mahomes first season as a starter where I think he had like 50 touchdowns or something like that. Like that's that people need to tamper their expectation on that part too. So
100%. I think Brian Flores is a great coach too. Like, I love that take so effing much because I think our roster is that good. I just think with the JJ stuff, like, I just don't know if it's going to get to his head. It's a big if. Both of our hot takes. Those are both good hot takes, I think.
Yeah. So we'll end it here. With again the hot take that got you some when TikTok was getting banned. What's your Minnesota Wild hot take?
It's bringing me back. It's like the Wild takes when I said Connor Dewar was the hottest guy in the Minnesota Wild, and then I told everybody, I was like, that was a bit. And everybody freaked out on me. Everybody was like, I can't believe this. It's like my entire life's been a lie because that's all I follow you for. And I was like, guys, this was in the beginning. Like, I'm talking about in the beginning. I'm not talking about all of it. I have his jersey bedazzled. I have 2 Connor Dewar jerseys. I learned to love him. He is still my favorite player. I learned to love him. I learned to but it started off as a bit. So I don't think I'm going to go that route this time. Because here's the thing is ever since Dewar left, I haven't had a favorite player. I haven't found somebody. I haven't found my new bit. As much as I was thinking, what was his name? I forgot. Lauko? Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe Lauko could be the bit. He was gone. So I was like, I don't know. I think the Minnesota Wild this year are going to be bad.
Are going to be bad?
I think they're going to be. I think my hot take is the Minnesota Wild are going to be bad.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a feeling. I think with the Kirill not being signed thing, I think obviously Marco Rossi not being signed. I think last year coming into it, Marc-Andre Fleury is gone. I think he was a huge point in the locker room.
All right. Okay. So a little bit of technical difficulty. We're back now, but you were saying the Wild are going to be bad because of the Kirill contract being up in the air, Rossi not being signed right now. Yeah, and I was just gonna say, Marc-Andre Fleury's not there this year. I think he's gonna be. There was rumors of him being in the front office or being in a role or doing something with the Minnesota Wild front office, which I think obviously could still be the case. We don't know. There's not been an official word on that or news. I just think that him not being in the locker room as a player is going to have an impact that a lot of people don't realize, just because a lot of people loved Marc-Andre Fleury who wouldn't, and I think he was had the opposite effect of a certain shortstop for the Twins. So I think that's going to be a little bit different, and I think that's just kind of my take. I don't see this team being that great, but expectations, again, we know with the Twins, with everything we've talked about, expectations are pretty low this for the Minnesota Wild, so who knows if they will do well, but I'm just going to go in with the worst absolute, the lowest of lows of lows of lows, and we're just going to suck, and then if we don't, then I take that as a win. So that's my hot take. Yeah, and the other day I was saying something similar to with that Russo report that came out of them not being close on a contract extension with Kirill. Now Kirill is in Russia right now enjoying his summer, so that's you know, obviously one, the time change difference could be a factor in that, but yeah, I think we saw last year with no Kirill on the team, they struggled a lot.
It's so different.
If doesn't re-sign, I think that's, you're setting yourself up for failure. So, but I will say in his defense too, they need to start making some more moves to prove that they want to win too. So I think I'm not going to blame him if he doesn't re-sign.
Correct.
So yeah, so that's all we have today here. Thank you for joining us on this one, and this will be a longer episode because again, sports media people just like to talk. So
I think I just love to talk. I think it's a me problem. Every podcast I'm on goes way longer than expected. I'm like, God, I need to shut up.
It's all good. It's so. But yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us here on 301 Banter.
Thank you so much for having me.
Massive thanks to Marissa for the time today. We wish her luck in their journey through sports media and the social media landscape. It'll be fun to continue to watch her journey. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of 301 Banter. Please like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. We'll see you next time. Peace.